Let us quickly recap what all the things we have seen yesterday. So about yesterday we were seeing about the object collection, right? And the important takeaway is dollar underscore dot means current object, and pipe will take all the objects and process one by one. And we have seen an example where object. And other than that, using pipes in symbol, we can do a lot of things. And one of them is using format list, format table, and format wide, all those things. That is all not gonna useful when you are gonna write your scripts, right? When we are writing script, we will be actually taking the output and then we will be exporting it to, let's say, to a file or somewhere else. And this format list, format table, and format wide, all those things are just to format the output in the console, in the PowerShell console. So it's not related to. I mean, most of the time we will not be using this when we are actually writing the scripts. When we are writing the script, we will be using something like out hyphen file, those kind of things. We'll be seeing a different session. Just want to make sure that these all things only for our administrator usage to see the inputs very easily and then as we wish. And format list is something whenever we want to see more details about some object, we will be using format list, FL, FT, FW, or all the aliases. So here onwards, we will be using FL a lot. And we also seen, once we take all the objects, we said we could see, we could select them, and then we could fetch a few kind of property, and we can also fetch and then sort them in a particular order, descending or ascending, all those things. And then we also seen where object, and where object is again is a kind of filter. Using a condition, it will be filtering it. So today we are going to see about, let's start with variables. Okay, so that from there we can go for the next one. Okay, so what is a variable, right? In a variable is not a terminology we will be using only in PowerShell. Let me stop the screen so that you can focus on. Let me stop the video so that you can focus on the screen. Okay, so variable is something like whenever is a terminology which is not related only to the PowerShell. It is a terminology for any programming language, C, C++, everything. And from the name itself, it varies, right? Varies in the sense it will be like, let's say, it can be keep on changing. Okay, so what is the real use of variable is let's say we wanted to store some information. Let's say we are getting all, let me open this, okay, and get hyphen service, right? And then what I'm doing, I'm trying to, or and I'm just hitting enter, right? All this information is getting displayed. For some reason, I want all these objects to be stored in somewhere else so that I can process them further. Let's say, uh, for an example, okay, I wanted to, instead of use it, whenever I want to use get service, I'm just gonna use $A, and I'm using equal symbol. What will happen is, get service, whatever on the right side of the equal service, equal symbol, whatever on the right side, it will be actually, this is called assignment, will be assigned to this variable. Okay, here this $A is called variable. Okay, why? First thing is, it is actually holding what all the get service we are typing, we are getting, right? It is going to hold everything. Let me show $A and hit enter. You see, it is giving the same exact result of a dollar, get service. What is happening? Get hyphen service, all the output, whatever that output, I'm just capturing and then putting into a variable so that I can use it. So how can I use it? Let's say $a dot count and hit enter. It's gonna give me the count. I can do anything. Let's say here, whatever I can do with the get hyphen service. Let's say where hyphen object dollar underscore dot name like Xbox. Let's say Xbox and hit enter. Here, whatever here it's getting stored, it's taking one by one, and where object dollar underscore name is the this name, and whether it has Xbox on it, Xbox X there, and then it is get displayed. Now I'm just pressing the up arrow and then I'm typing get hyphen service and hit enter, and I'll be getting the exact same thing. So what is happening? In spite of I use whenever I mean, in spite of I keep on use get hyphen service, I'm assigning that to a variable. I'm using a word called assigning, right? Assigning means we are taking something and then whatever the output or the value we are assigning and then storing it into a variable, So here this $a is called variable. So that is a start. But let's go back a little bit, a little bit about why we wanted to use a variable. Okay, before that about PowerShell. Okay, whenever we want to declare anything in the PowerShell, anything, any variable will be starting with the dollar symbol. Okay, anything starts with the dollar, it will be a variable. Okay, and how we declare, I'm using again, we are gonna use few words here. Declaring is something how I'm gonna say this is, I'm gonna say to PowerShell, this is a variable. So I'm just saying to PowerShell declare a variable means I'm saying to PowerShell console or PowerShell that I am declaring a variable name. So what is that? How is that? I just need to start with dollar and followed by any name. It can be one single letter or it can be let's say services, or it can be test, or it can be anything. Okay, and what all the conditions we should I mean what all the conditions we should be validating when we are declaring a variable. First thing, there should not be, I mean, these are, let's say, best practices. Okay, and best practices and conditions. Okay, first thing is there should not be space between the dollar and the and whatever the name we are declaring, let's say A or whatever the name. Okay, between dollar underscore this whatever the variable name. Here this A and services test everything is called variable name. And how we know it is a variable name, or how PowerShell will know it is a variable name, because I'm typing dollar in the beginning of that particular, I mean anything, the PowerShell will understand I want to use this as a variable, and I'm going to use it. Okay, that's the first condition. So what? Let's try that first. Let me type $a. Okay, let's say we have in this meeting first person is Jagadish, right? I'm putting double quotes whenever we are using something with the double quotes. It's a string. Okay, whenever we are using string, is will be used with double quotes or single quotes. Okay, so I'm putting Jagadish and then hit enter. What I'm saying to PowerShell here, I'm starting with $a, right? So what I'm saying is $a first person is equals to Jagdish. So whatever I'm typing here will be assigned to this particular variable. Okay. Now how do I call? Okay. How do I recall or call or print or display that variable, all we need to do is just type the name and or just type the variable name, that's it, and it will be called, let's say, and here I'm declaring this, right? Let's say dollar first person, and if you see, I just type FIR in small letter and press tab. It's automatically fills because it knows it is already stored, and then hit enter. We are getting the Jagdishan. Now, let's say I want to declare another one. Okay, who's the second person? Let's say second person is equals Roy. Okay, and hit enter. Now, again, what I'm doing, I'm putting the in double quotes and then I'm assigning to here. So how you need to read this is start from your right side to left. So right side is Roy and then it is getting assigned to this particular variable. And how do we call it? Call in the sense of how do we use it? Okay, just type it and then hit enter. Now, so that is how we will be declaring and then using this. So now, first question, what will happen when I declare this? Okay, this is what will happen. Okay, let's say this is the computer memory. Okay, RAM. Okay, and whenever we are declaring in the console, okay, let's say I'm declaring something called first name, okay, or anything else. Okay, here for what did I do first? I declare first person and then I also declare second person. So what will happen is PowerShell will create a memory space. Okay, this is, let's say, a small memory space. Okay, to hold some value. When I say hold some value, it can be anything. It can be a name. It can, here we are using a name. It can be anything. It can be a name. It can be a number. In this previous example, if you remember, we just type get hyphen a, right? Here dollar a is not either, it is not either number or string. It is actually is holding all the services. It's holding all the, so it can be anything. Okay, so hold any value. Okay, so what will happen whenever I declare something in the computer RAM memory? Okay, again, not hard disk, in the RAM memory, it will create a small location and it will name it as a, for our usage as of now we will say it as a dollar. Okay, name it as dollar for first person and dollar second person, and whatever the value we are declaring, right, it will be here. Whatever, let's say Jagdishan or what Roy, right, we are, that will be here. So this is what will happen whenever we declare something in the computer using PowerShell. Okay, okay. So this is what I want to show you. So let's say this is how it will be variable store in computer, let's say, or RAM actually. So this is what happens. Okay, now as I said, it can be a string or a number or objects or anything. Okay, and we also seen how PowerShell will understand it is a variable, but if we just type $a, it will understand it is a variable. So I said the first condition we will check this, whether we should leave a space between the dollar underscore and the variable or not. Let's try that. Dollar, leave a space, and then let's say third person is, let's say, Praveen. Hit enter. Now it's giving an error. Dollar is not recognized as the name or a command letter. Reason is we know dollar is inbuilt one to declare it, but as I said, there should not be a space between the variable name. So if I just remove that and hit enter, it will work. So that's the first takeaway. Okay, and how to call it again? Hit enter. There is a spelling mistake, but don't worry. This is that's fine. Okay, now I declared it. Now we are going to justify why we are calling it as a variable. Okay, why it's called variable. Okay, variable is something like let's say again coming back here. Okay, variable is something like it's a memory place where it will have a name. Person. I mean, let's say here the first person. Okay, it will have a name. This variable name will not change. Okay, let's say that is a kind of let's say that is a home address. Okay, let's say it is your home address. Okay, and this is a kind of an address. Okay, this will never change, but whoever is in that home, okay, let's say you are renting it to somebody, or you are there, or somebody else can be there. Let's say it is a hotel room. Okay, let's say hotel room number 101. Okay, the 101 will never change, but whoever is staying there yesterday, a day before yesterday, the person name will be keep on changing, right? Similarly, whatever the name we are declaring, okay, the variable name will never, I mean, unless until we change, it will not change. Okay, but the value here, whatever we are mentioning, right, it can change. So when I say it can change, it means it will vary, right? The value of the variable will change, means it will vary. So that is why we call it as a variable. And the variable name is different from the value. Okay, so what is the variable name? Whatever we are saying, right, this hotel room or whatever the holder name we are saying, right, we can also call it as a variable name, also can be called as a placeholder. Okay, I mean, it's not something you don't have to remember. Okay, but just to to easily understand. Okay, actually it is a technical name, placeholder. Okay, because it is actually holding the place here. So the first person, let's say again the same analogy, like let's say that it is the room number of a hotel. The room number will be keep on the same, but who are staying there will be keep on changing, right? Similarly, the variable name will be the same, and whatever the value inside, it will be keep on changing, and that's why we call it as a variable. And again, this variable, as I said, it is not nothing related to only PowerShell. It is a common for all the programming language, C, C++, and everything. So now, while we are comparing to C, C++, okay, first thing is C and Java, all those things are case sensitive. Okay, and here it is not case sensitive. Okay, let's test it. I'm typing history, and then I could see first person. I just typed here, right? It starts with F as a capital letter and hit enter. Now let me make it as F small and then P capital and hit enter. Still it is gonna retrieve the same information. Okay, because it is not a case sensitive, so it will be these two are actually gonna be pointing to the same placeholder. Okay, this is again only in the PowerShell, not in the C or Java. So that's why we call it as non-case sensitive. Okay, now I said there should not be a space between the variable name, right? So some people will be usually ask this question. okay, I really wanted to leave a space and then wanted to make the name very easier for me to understand. Okay, I don't want let's say first and person to be they both are two separate words. I don't want them to keep it together as a one word. So is there a way to do it? Let's try that. Let's say first, let's or let's say fourth person. Let's try. Okay, fourth person is Raj. Let's hit enter. Now let's try. You see here, now I'm leaving a space, okay, not between the dollar and the first letter, okay, but between the names, okay, on whatever the variable name. I can leave a space, but to achieve it, I actually need to use these curly braces so that it will be actually considered as a one single variable. So this is how we need to actually declare a variable name. Okay, variable and name. If you want to leave a space, it should be uh, bounded with the curly braces. And whenever you are calling, you should always use this dollar. I mean dollar curly braces. This one. And if I just type now fourth person, it will not be working because it will only work if I just type fourth. So first of all, this is not recommended. Reason one is uh, we are leaving space, and then whenever we want to, I mean, how easily I can type this quickly, but when I'm typing this, I could make a mistake, and then I need to type it in a full, and then I need to put up brackets, all those things. So this is first of all not recommended. Okay. So what is the other way to recommend? Let's say dollar fifth person. Okay, fifth underscore person is equal to Kumar and hit enter. Now hit enter. This will work. So you can use underscore between the variable names, okay, so that it will make sense for you, okay, too easy to understand. Again, it is only for your I mean, this will work, and this is also recommended for while somebody else is reading, it will actually make sense for them. Okay, so I mean, okay, fifth underscore person, they will actually read fifth person, okay, instead of we without name. And fifth underscore person is different from fifth person. Okay, there is nothing called fifth person because we did not declare. Okay, so the point is fifth underscore person is not fifth person. Okay, it is they both are different variables and they are not the same. And again, dollar underscore is just to make sure it is easy for understand and then easy to use. You can use that. Now what we were seeing is we were keep on assigning only the, let's say, the names, right? Jagdishan and Roy, everyone. So is it possible for us to declare a number? Okay, let's say I wanted to declare a number. Let's say number 1 is equal to 100 and hit enter and type number 1. I'm calling it, and then this is how I'll be calling. Okay, and let's say number 2 is equal to 200, and when I call, I'll be calling number 2 and okay. Now let's say what is the use. Let's come to the the utilization. We declared something variable and we want to manipulate something. So what is the whole point of all these things is, let's say whenever we type get hyphen service, we will be doing only something at that particular time. When we are storing it, we can do and then manipulate lot of things. So main reason for declaring variable is to reuse the value. Okay, so what I mean by reuse the value, I declared the number 100. Okay, let's say I want to add 100 plus 200. I can do it here. I mean, if you see, just like a calculator, I type both of them and I'm adding it now, right? This is an easy thing. So why should I declare here and then number and number? Again, let me try this. Let's try to add number 1 plus number 2. Okay, and hit enter. This is also giving the same result, right? But what if I wanted to use this, okay, in my script in multiple places? Let's say uh, this dollar underscore number 1 can be, let's say, something which is meaningful. Let's say RAM size. Okay, let's say 1024 is the RAM size. Okay, and in spite of whenever I want to type 1024, okay, since it is easy number, I'm able to remember. So let's say what is 1024 into 16. Let's say it's a number like this. Okay, is it easy for me to remember, and then is it easy for me to use it? Let's say I'm doing some kind of calculation in my script, and whenever I want to call this RAM size, is it easy for me to remember this first, and then is it necessary for me to remember? No, right? So it will be easier for me to remember this, and it will be also easier for somebody else actually using your script to understand what is this actual number. Okay, uh, for let's say just take a notepad. Okay, consider this as a script. Okay, and I'm saying this is the number. Okay, and I know this is a RAM. Okay, let's say I'm the one writing. I'm just keeping this, and then what I'm doing is total memory is equal to, I have 4 slots, and then I multiply with this one, and then I'm resulting right hyphen host will type whatever, I mean result whatever we are doing it, and then this, let's say this is the 2 lines, and then I'm say running this command. If I'm reading this, okay, today, now I know where this number is coming from. I know it is the RAM size, and then I'm actually multiplying with this 4 because it is number of slots. Let's say somebody else is opening this. Let's say Sanjit is opening this and then reading this. Will it make any sense? Where is this number come from? It just came from a thin air where he have no clue about it. Now, instead of that, let's say I say slot numbers. Okay, slots is equal to 4, and then RAM size is equal to whatever this number. Now, instead of this, I say slots into RAM size. Okay. Now, whoever reads this, this will be first of all easy to understand, right? And then even you know what is that, and instead of I use it, again we are talking about the reasons. One is to reuse it, another one is for easy to understand. So that is the main reason. First thing is easy to understand, and then I can, whenever I want, I can keep on reuse it again and again, right? So that is the thing. Let us try the same thing here. Let's say slots is equals to 4, and RAM size is equals to some number, and I'm saying total memory is, what does the star means? What will this will do? What will this do? So exactly what we do in calculator, the same thing will be happening here. So we will be using plus, minus, and then star, and then division. Everything will be the same kind of thing. So it is going to display. And as I said, right host is, this is the first time we are doing it. I just show here and then hit enter. It's giving the thing. Right host will, whatever we are typing here, okay, whatever the value, it will actually writing. Okay. just another example. Let's say I'm not giving any variable. I'm just typing this is a test to show right host will display anything, and hit enter, it will display. Okay, the only thing is I'm putting it in double quotes because it is a string. Okay, it's actually not about a variable. I just want to show you this one. So you understand now, we know why we are using variable. Okay, how to declare a variable, and then why we call it as variable, and what is the best practice and what is not recommended. Okay, you can change all these spelling mistakes, and then how to declare with a underscore, all those things. Now, and another interesting thing, okay, that is will only happen in PowerShell actually, at least while comparing to C and Java. Those are very, let's say, they have their own protocols, means rules and regulations. You cannot use case sensitive. I mean, it is very case sensitive, and you should declare a variable before you use it. When I said declare, you should say whether it is a number or a string, all those lot of restrictions. I mean, if you are missing anything, okay, it will not work. But while comparing to PowerShell, okay, while comparing to C and Java, those kind of programming language, since PowerShell is a scripting language and made completely only only goal is to make our life easy and not make our life complicated. So they made as easy as possible. So usually, okay, let's say in C, C++, before we declare a variable, we should say what kind of variable it is, whether it is a name or it is a number or it is a string or anything, okay, long string or integer, those kind of thing, and objects and array, hash, all those things will be declared. Here we don't have to do anything. And let's say in C, okay, imagine this is a C program, okay, here C or C++, okay, C or Java, okay. In C or Java, I declare something, let's say name is equal to some name, okay. And I can, if I try to assign something else, let's say number, okay. Since this is, I declare, first of all, I'll say name is a string. I mean, since you do, I mean, we do not know and we don't have to worry about what is Java and C. Okay, I'm just saying how it will work. Okay, first thing is I'm declaring name is a string. Okay, then I'm saying okay, name is something, some name. Now, if I assign some number, what will happen is it will throw an error. Okay, error saying the name is a string and won't hold number. So that is how the strict it will be. Okay, now let's try the same scenario here. Now I'm gonna declare name. Okay, the name is this computer name one. Let's say no, not that. We'll keep this one. Okay, top performer. Uh, let me see any other example. Okay, instead of we do any particular thing, let's say just ABC, okay, is equals to some name, okay, some name, and I hit enter. Now I call ABC, okay, and I could see this, the value is some name. Now I'm gonna use get hyphen member. Okay, listen to this very carefully. Again, whenever we are touching any new command, I'll be using the get hyphen member. You know why it is, why we are exploring, because that is the key to everything. Okay, even though ABC is something I am declaring myself, it will have its own members. I mean objects, and it is an object. Okay, as I said, everything is an object. Okay, even though we say it is as a variable, even though it is getting stored here, This is again a variable is also an object. Now I'm gonna explore $ABC, that object, and get hyphen member. I'm gonna check few things. First thing is the type name. Okay, you see, since I put it in a double quotes, some name, and then that is a string, right? A string is nothing but yeah, just the characters together. So in the double quotes or a single quotes, that is a string. Okay. If you don't know what is string in a general English, a string is different meaning, but in programming language, string means it is just it is a word. Okay. It can be a word or a sentence. Okay. Basically, it is a combination of letters. Okay. So first thing is I'm seeing it as a type name is a string. Okay, don't worry about system, just to see this is a string. Now compared to this one, similarly, what I did, I am declaring this as a string. Now what I'm going to do is I'm trying to assign some other instead of string, I'm going to assign some number, and let me see what is going to happen. Okay. Before that, I'll just explore one more thing. Okay, since it is a string, okay, I can show you. Okay, this method, right? This is something related to string, right? Substring, and let us say anything else related to string. Yeah, to string, okay, or to upper, okay, trim, characters, all those are related to string. I mean, we could easily relate, okay, these are all something should be related to string. It is nothing nothing related to a number, right? So now this is an object I declared, and then it goes to the RAM, and then it is stored as a $ABC, and it is declared as a string, and it has its own property. Now second thing is what I'm going to try. I'm gonna change it to number. What is the number? It can be anything. Let's say 1, 2, 3, and I hit enter. It doesn't give any error. Okay. First of all, as I say, if PowerShell is executing successfully, it will not give any error. So it means if when I declare ABC is already an object, it is declared as a string. But when I declare a number, okay, which is a completely a different kind of value. Okay. So and let's say we take a car, right, or a bike. Let's say we take a car. Is there will be two kind of cars. One is the petrol related, and then another one will be diesel, right? So we don't even try to use petrol in a diesel car and diesel in the petrol car, right? So that is how we are, right? So that is how the world is. But here the reason why I'm saying is, even though the number is a string, I mean string is completely different from the number, it will still again adapt very easily. It will not say anything, it will just take it. Now I'm gonna check whether it taken it successfully, it assigned successfully, yes. Now I'm gonna verify whether it actually changed the object type as well. Now I'm seeing it is not string, it is integer. Okay, integer is nothing but it's called types. Okay, and it can be one I said is string, another one is integer, and we also can have long, all those things. We don't have to worry all of these things. Actually, you don't even have to remember all these things, because PowerShell is meant to for that reason only, because to make your life easy. So you don't even have to remember what is int, why it is 32, why it is not 64. You don't have to get involved, or don't even have to worry about it. The whole point is we declare this as a string, and then we still change it to a number, and still it works, and meaning this is what the conclusion. Okay, so conclusion is we declare something, okay, and then we can change the variable type with any value and any variable type. when I say variable type, it can be integer or string or array or objects collection. When I say object collection, it is just like a get hyphen services, those kind of things. So that is the whole point. Okay, we can change the variable any value. Okay, what I mean by that, very quick example. I put first dollar a is equal to 100 and I call it is a, and then I'm changing a again to 200, means I'm changing the value to 200 and checking whether it changed. Now I'm gonna change the complete number to a string actually. Okay, string is let's say computer, and then I'm checking whether it is holding. Yes, it is also holding a string as well. And I said the object collection as well, right? Let's say get hyphen process. It's a complete process collection will be collected and then it will be stored. Let me check. It's there, right? So I'm able to change the value. I'm able to change the variable type, integer, and also I could also store the object collection. And finally, I can also make it null. What is null? Okay, null is nothing actually. Okay, null means in programming language, it has nothing. It is an empty. Okay, so you want to now let's say has this value, right? Means let's say imagine you are able to open the RAM and you are able to see $a. Okay, and you will be actually seeing all these information or whatever the list of services will be here. And for some reason, okay, I want to make it erase all these info value and just make it as empty or null. So in that case I just type and then equals to null and a will be null. Again dollar null. Okay, it is, if I just type null, it will be an error. Okay, null is a system defined value, variable. Okay, so how to actually nullify, or this is called nullify or empty a variable, or actually anything, is just by declare variable name is equals to dollar null, not just null. Okay, so now if I type $a, it will be nothing. Okay, again I'll prove the point. Get hyphen process and then $a dot count is 284, and if I put it null and dollar dot count, it will be 0. Okay, so that's the whole point of declaring variables, all those things. And okay, so variables, all those things. So we have seen what is variable, and we have also seen how to declare it, and we know how to use it. Okay, now we are going to see these things. Okay, get variable, set variable, clear variable, and remove variable. Get variable is nothing but whatever we just did, right? Okay, I mean, this, first of all, this is something you will never use in your complete you don't have to, and you will never use. I never used at all. Just for your information, these all exist, so I can show you. Okay, uh, I call a is equal to, let's say, 100. Now I'm calling $a, right? It's calling $a. So how the actual command, what is getting executed is get hyphen variable and then $a. Okay, honestly, I didn't even use for a long time. I forgot. I think it will be value only or something. But anyway, we have our own get hyphen help, get hyphen variable, and examples. Hit enter. Here we go. Okay. Get hyphen variable, and the mistake what I did is I'm putting $A. Okay, all I'm going to do is just going to make it as A and hit enter. It will work. Okay, that's the only mistake. I'm just copying and pasting into the notepad, so okay, you can try that. Commands or actual commands, okay, but you don't have to. Okay, this command is nothing but $A. Okay, get hyphen variable, and you don't have to use dollar here. If you use dollar, I mean, as I get an error, just type again. You will get an error. Okay, and set hyphen variable. Let's try again. I guess you have guessed it. Whenever I'm assigning some other value, right? Now A is 100. Okay. Now A is equal to 200. Now this is what it is changing the value, right? I'm setting something else, right? So that is what set variable will be doing. Set hyphen variable, and the name is A, and the value is 300, and hit enter. Now get hyphen variable hyphen name. I mean, you don't have to type, but just now you could see it changed. All these things again not required, just to show you this all there so that you can know it is nothing but $A is equals 300, right? It is the same command. Okay. Okay, and what is clear variable? I said null, right? Let's try that. Clear hyphen variable A, hit enter. Now $A is null. It's nothing but we tried already, right? Null, right? That's the exact same command. So clear dollar variable or whatever the value here is nothing but assigning it to a null. And final thing is remove hyphen variable is something we don't have to do it. Okay, whenever we close this console, yeah, very important thing. Whatever we declared here, right? All the variables will be only available, only valid till this console is open. Okay, and let's try this. Here I'm gonna try console1. Okay, and then I'm gonna call console1 here. You see here, whatever this console, okay, whatever the value we are declaring, this is only within the scope of this particular console. Okay, even it will not even share with another console. Okay, means only this, whatever the variables we are declaring or anything will be working as of now. Just to know, it will be only in this. And if I just close it, for an example here, let me say console2 is equals to 100 or 1000, and then I copy it so that I know I don't make a mistake. I close it and then open another thing, and then if I copy and paste it, it will be gone. The value and everything gone. Means here if I close it, okay, if I just close it, it will be gone. It will be taken off from the RAM memory because the console is closed. Console is just an application. How we are closing the windows, or let's say PowerPoint or a notepad or anything, when we are closing things, if it is a file and if we store it, it will be getting stored. But if it is something we don't store or save, it will be discarded, right? The same concept. All these variables are meant to discard by default. The only way to store everything is to store to a file. We'll be seeing that all in upcoming sessions. As of now, just know all the variables will be gone once we close it. Okay, then, so that's all about the and okay, the last piece of the puzzle is I'll close this so that we will not get confused. Okay, and then the last one is remove hyphen variable. What it will do is it will just actually remove from the RAM itself. Okay, it will not be valuable anymore. Okay, let's say console 1, I hit enter. Now if I type console 1, it will not be there, or let's say it will be empty. Okay, so remove hyphen console. Whenever we are using get variable, set variable, remove variable, all those things, we will not be using the dollar symbol. Okay, this will be actually remove the value, I mean variable and value from the console, in other words RAM. So that's the thing about variables. And there are some automatic variables. Okay, so what is the automatic variable? I'll be just showing that. There are a list of automatic variables. Okay, again, first of all, you don't have to remember any of these things. Okay, the reason is most of the thing you will not be using. Okay, it might look scary, you might, this is something we have already seen, right? Dollar underscore. Okay, that is the one I said, right? So that is an automatic variable, just meaning it is already declared and it will be available in all the PowerShell, meaning it is a predefined variable. Okay, automatic variable is a fancy name for just a predefined variable. Okay, so what are the things we, without even our knowledge, we have already seen lot of things. Okay, automatic variable, we have seen dollar underscore, we have dot, we have seen, we have dollar null, we have seen, right? These are all the things. Okay, and okay, this I'm just going to show you what are the things we will be actually using. Okay, dollar error, we will be seeing this about in detail when we are seeing about how to troubleshoot and then how to handle error, all those things. As of now, just to know dollar error will just call all the errors so far we got. Okay, in this command, whatever the console we have, from the time we open the console, all the errors will be getting stored here. Okay, this is an array, and if you do not know array is just, imagine it's a box of or it's a combination of things. Okay, and error, dollar error, when I say array, it means it will be having lot of errors combined into one variable. Okay, so dollar error, and again we'll be seeing what is array, what is hash table, all those things. It's called data types. Okay, here I was mentioning, right, variable type. Okay, this is actually also called data types. Okay, integer, string, you see array we said, right? This is what I mean to say. Okay, array, hash table, all those things are different kind of let's say how we are storing some information and what kind of information, whether it is a number, it is a string or an object or collection, those kind of things. And as of now, dollar error is just will store all the errors in your console. Okay, and I'll be just putting it what all the things we'll be actually using in our real life. Okay, dollar error, and save it. Okay, this is something we'll be using very often, true or false. Okay, they both are true or false. I'll just give an example. Dollar A is, mm, let's say x is equals 100. Okay, now I'm just typing dollar x is equals 100 and I hit enter, you'll be getting this value true, right? Okay. Now let's say you get a false, right? This is what we are actually will be using. Okay, this is something we will be validating whether some condition is true or false. For an example, let's say in for an example, yesterday we were seeing something. I'll show you that. Okay. In this where object, okay, I said where object and the condition, right? And here I mentioned only if the condition is true, right? This true is what I here we call as a dollar true. Okay, if whatever this condition, if it is true, then it will be returning the whatever the result, and if it is false, it will not result. So that is what the dollar true and dollar false. Okay, and so far we were seeing okay. Let's complete this automatic variables. Okay. Uh, Other thing, anything else? That null we have already seen. Okay. Here it is. All these are non-case sensitive. Dollar underscore dot, we have seen this already. PS version table is also not required. True, false, we have seen. That's all. Okay, so I'll just put this link. I mean, you can search, but I'll just put it so that it will be in record. You can get all those things, but this is what all you will be. I mean, most of the time, 99% of the time, we will be using all these things. Yeah. So let's continue and. Okay, so we have seen variable and everything, all those things, and then let's go with variable scope. Okay, so what is variable scope? First of all, what is a scope, right? You know, in movies and all, they will be saying cinema scope, right? Means let's say this is the movie in theaters, you'll be seeing only 15% of the screen will be blank, and then 15% of the screen at the bottom will be blank. Only nearly some 70 to 75% will be you'll be seeing in the movie, right? Hope you know those kind of things. Cinema scope. Still, there are few movies will be taken in called a cinema scope. Means it will be like a rectangular shape, and in some theaters you will be actually seeing a white color at the top as well as bottom. So we know scope is something like related to what is we actually gonna focus, right? So in this cinema scope, what we are gonna see, we are, even though the movie is in the entire screen, we'll be actually focusing on that 70% of the middle portion only, right? So scope is equals to the focus. Okay, I'm gonna show you more examples in Hollywood, right? Let's say we will be seeing opportunities. Okay, let's say what is the opportunity? Let's say there will be a very good actor. Okay, in initial time there, let's say a superstar. Okay, superstar Rajinikanth, you know, right? So when he was introduced in the first movie, he was just coming for one or two scenes, and then actually at the end of the movie he'll be dead. Okay, that's his first movie, and that is the first opportunity. So how we will be seeing that he is a very good actor, and then maybe in future he becomes a superstar. But the point is, in that movie, whatever the opportunity given to him is not very much, and the scope of they will be using this word actually. The scope for that particular actor to act is very less, right? And the same same kind of thing, some people will be like very underestimated actor or actress, and in some movies they will be playing a small role, but in that small role they will get a huge opportunity to explore their their scope of work, and then their talent and everything. So whenever we say scope is also equals to the opportunity. Okay, so remember this word opportunity. Okay, and then how they are actually utilizing. Now let's say there is a sniper. Okay, we say let's say in movies they will be saying, right, whether the target is at the range or not in range or out of range. So I have a headshot, all those things they will be saying, right? So this is the second word I want you to remember. One is opportunity and the second one is range, right? So that is when we are sniper or somebody else, everyone using the range whenever we say scope. Okay, whether it is in your scope, yes, it is in my range, I can shoot, I can take a shot or not, those kind of things. And when it comes to actual, now those are all the real-time examples, and let's come to an IT. Okay, when it comes to IT, let's say we have a management hierarchy, CEOs, and then management, and then after that we will be having team. Let's say this is an Active Directory team, this is an Exchange team, this is a Skype for Business team, or programming language, all those things, right? So whatever these people, okay, will be having access to lot of resources. Let's say they might be having access to their company funds, and then blackberries, and then huge luxury hotels, all those things for their visiting. But when it comes to these people, they might be having the limited thing. And when it comes to IT, actual IT, where these people will be a member of lot of huge and important Active Directory groups, and these people will be in the management. And let's say there is a group for CEO, only these people will be receiving that, having access to that emails, and these people will be having access to only for the managers. And this team will be having all the access to SharePoint related resource and emails, all those things. So again, the third word is also hierarchy, right? So one is opportunity, and another one is range, another one is hierarchy. So these are all the things we will be saying as a scope. Why? Okay, so we have seen the movie example and the sniper example, and then this one. Again, as I said, access, let's say in this thing, right, these people will have access to some particular printers or particular resource or particular servers, and others will not have access. For an example, the HR team will be having access to read everyone's pay slip and everything, but they will not have access to the technical thing. But the technical team will be having access to all the computers and resources, but vice versa, they will not able to see anything else related to payment, right? So that is all. So to putting it all together, scope is first of all, okay, related to variable. Okay, you remember I declared something here, okay, and then I opened another console, okay, and then I call that, and I show whatever this X is I declared here, it is actually not available here. So what does that mean? This $X is the scope of this $X is only this particular session, okay, and it is not out of that session. And whatever I am declaring here, it will be, let's say I'm declaring X as 10,000 here, I call it here. But if I call X here, it will be different. They both will be having the same name, but in the RAM, actually they will be in a different console. Okay, for an example, this console will be having all these this particular RAM, and then another console will be having another place. Okay, and here is where it will be stored. So even though the name is actually X here, also X here, $X here, both are same name, but they are all in a different place and the scope is different, so they will not be accessible even though the name are same. So that is what we are saying about the name and I mean about the scope. First thing is it is bounded to some particular console or the script. Okay, and now I'm going to show you another example. First thing is about the scope. I'll just keep noting it so that you can understand. Scope is first of all whether it is in the range or whether it is in that particular mostly access. Okay, we can say this. Okay, and third is opportunity, and but you don't have to worry about it. Just scope means these two things. Okay, so when I say this variable is scoped to particular console, it is only accessible in that particular console, and it is the access range is only in that particular console. That is what we mean to say. Mostly it will be a variable. Okay, the variable value or variable name or functions or anything can be can be put into a scope. Okay, now let's see some practical examples here. Okay. First, I already we clearly say one session will not be accessible in another session. That is one scope. Now, I'm declaring something here. Okay, let's say console value of x is equal to this is console value. Okay, I'm just declaring a value called or to make it easy. Okay, value of x. Okay, I'm just putting it and then here it's x is console value. Okay, I'm just saying dollar value of x is console value. I open a notepad. Okay, and then I'm copying this here and then I'm pasting here and then I'm actually before I do that, we know what the right hyphen host will be doing, right? So what I'm expecting here is what I declared some value here and I'm going to store it in a script. Okay, let's say this is the first time you are seeing script. Okay, if it is you don't know what is script, all those things, don't worry about anything. As of now, just consider it is a file. We are executing the PowerShell commands from that file. We'll be seeing very in-depth about the scripts and everything. That's the whole point of this program. So don't worry whether if you don't understand as of now. As of now, as I said, as of now, it is we are just executing the same command from a file. Okay. So usually a script, PowerShell script will be named with an extension of .ps1. So I'm naming it as let's say test scope 1.ps1 and putting it in double quotes. If you see in the beginning as well as in the end, I'm putting double quotes and then I'm not changing anything. Okay, I just copy this place so that I can call it and then I save it. I saved it and then I'm going to that particular place and to execute a script all you need to do is just type the name of that. Okay, okay, test scope and I'm doing it slowly again. I type test and press tab. Okay, now you see dot slash is added automatically. Okay, I'm typing one more time. I just type test. I know the name, so I am type and then press tab. You see dot slash is added. Anyone knows what is dot slash means? Not in PowerShell, in a general way. Usually dot slash is something, let's say when we are logging into any server, okay, any computer or anything, okay, we'll here. So when we want to log in into a particular machine, okay, as a local administrator, okay, what we will be doing, dot slash administrator and then the password, right? So here, what does this dot slash means? It just means local machine, right? Similarly, in dot slash, wherever we are using in PowerShell, it just means the current machine. You can also say local machine or a current machine, okay? So here the same thing, instead of current machine or local machine, instead of that we will be actually calling it as a local path or current path. So dot slash is nothing but what will happen when we type this. This will be actually converted into whatever the computer name, okay, local host name slash administrator, and then this password will be passed, right? So similarly, whenever we are executing, let's say dot slash test dot ps1, it will be take the current folder, okay, it can be, let's say, C colon test or anything, and then it will append with the test.ps1. So finally, how it will look like, slash C test, which is the current, and then slash test ps1. This is what exactly happening when we are typing this. Most of the people have no idea why it is actually adding this, and then why it is, I mean, most of the people, okay, they don't know. All they know is we can execute it like this, but this is what the reason behind it. Hope you got that. Now we just hit enter. You see, it's giving whatever I declared in this particular console. Again, to recall to the actual value, or I'll just type history. In the history, what did we do? We declare something called $value X, and then we said X console value, means whatever we are mentioning here. And then what did I do? I opened a script, and then I'm type right host is just print, and then I'm just calling this value, means this value will be printing, and I expected this value to return. And then did it return? Yes, it did return. Meaning, okay, first conclusions, we are going to come to a few conclusions, so let's see one by one. Declare a variable in console, okay, and it is accessible in script runs from the console, okay, means whatever we are declaring here, okay, if we try to access the same variable, the same variable is accessible in the script which runs from the same console, okay. That is what we just proven, right? So again, I prove it, hit enter, I'm getting the same value, and I'm also calling this is the same value. So first point is proven. Now I'm going to check the vice versa is working or not. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open the same thing again, the same test scope. Here I'm going to declare something called value y, okay, and I'm saying y is script value, okay. It just means just to make you understand, I'm declaring something here, okay, and I'm just going to show you there is nothing called value of y here. It is empty, null, okay, in the console. but I'm declaring in the script. Okay, just to whenever I start a command, I mean any script or any well, sorry, I rephrase it. Whenever I start a command with this pound symbol, okay, hash or pound symbol, it means this is gonna be a command. Okay, command. In other words, this will not execute. Whatever you are putting, okay, whatever you are typing after this hash, okay, hash symbol or pound symbol, all those things, it will not execute, and it usually called as comment. Okay, and why I am typing is because I'm gonna just show you. This is script, demo script of variable scope. Now, from these two itself, you could see what is the use of comment. A comment is nothing but to give more details about the script so that others will understand more. Okay. For an example, let's say I'm giving this script. Whoever is not have seen this video. If I give this script and then if I just the open and see, they will understand. Okay, comment means it will not execute. Okay, this is the demo. Okay, because it is starting. Okay, and I also add more because we start with the hash symbol. So everyone will understand that. Okay, so that is the whole point of hash. One is for that. Another thing is if we don't want something to execute, stop execute a command in a script. In that scenario, okay, first scenario is to give information, okay, and second in that scenario is to stop execute. Let's say we know that particular command is going to give some error, or if we don't want that particular command to execute, then it will be not executing. The whole takeaway is if we just type dollar command, okay, it has nothing to do with the scope. I'm just giving as an example. Means it won't execute. That's it. Okay, nothing else. Okay. Now, why I'm putting all these things so that I can show what we are trying to do here. So what we do here, we declare value of y. Okay, here in script. That is what I just want to show you, and then I'm going to call it here. Again, it is not empty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the script now. Okay, my expectation is, okay, when I run this script will run, and whatever this value, it will go to the RAM here somewhere else, so that I can access. Okay, my assumption is when I run the script, this value of x, okay, will be actually created somewhere, and so that I can access it, okay, in this console. That is what I am assuming, and then let me try to do that. Before that, I'll also write hyphen host dollar value of y. This is to prove this is actually aligned and it is actually working. Okay. Now let me run the script. The same script. Okay. Why this is? I mean, first thing. Okay. X value is something it's getting from here. Okay, where we have already declared in the console. From console to the script, it will work as we already declared. Okay, we declare a variable in a console and the variable will be accessible in the script. Now the vice versa we are trying. Okay, we are declaring a value variable here and then we are trying to access here. since it executed, now my assumption is it is somewhere in the RAM, so I should able to access now from the console, and I hit enter. Is this accessible? When I say accessible, am I getting this value? No, right? So that's the whole point. The point is how the, let's say this is console number 1, okay, and let's say this is console number 2. When I say console, it's a PowerShell console, okay. How they both are separate, okay. Similarly, I'm sorry, just give me one moment. Just want to make sure this point is clear so that you'll get it. This is the script, okay. Scope of, let's say script or scope of script, okay. Let's just keep it as script, okay. Now I cut this and then I'm actually putting inside the console, okay. This script is inside this particular console, okay. So what is happening is whatever I declare here, okay, this $X I declare, right, it will be available in the script, okay. So whatever I declare here console, it will be available here, but whatever the script is getting declared, once the script is executed, and then it's no, once, as I said, once the script is executed, it is done. When a program is completed, what will happen? It will clear all the values, right? So it's a program, it's ran successfully. Even though the value is created, it will create, but it will not be accessible back again because the script will be end and it will be terminated. All this value will be gone. So whatever the console wanted to try to access this value, it will not be accessible. So hope that makes a little bit easy to understand. I just want to summary again. First thing is we open two console, even though we have the same name, okay, they are two different console and they are not accessible each other. First point. Second point is if we declare something in the console and we run a script from that console, that value whatever declared in the console will be available here, okay. But whatever the value we declare in the script will not be available back to the console. That's a plain and simple thing, and the reason, as I said, we'll just here. Okay, declare a variable in the script, okay, and then by default won't be accessible in the console. Reason is the variable, okay, let's say we call this as a script variable, okay. Script variable will be terminated and destroyed once the script is completed. So that's the reason and that's the scope, okay. The first scope is console to console will not be available. Second is this one, and third is what are the script, and then finally this one. Let's move on to little bit more advanced. Okay, here it's so far we were seeing only about the variables, keeping variables as an example, and then we are showing whether this variable will be accessible here or not. Similarly, everything, alias, functions, drives, anything, okay, everything will be following under the same category. If I declare some function in one console, it will not be available in another console. If I declare a console in if I declare a function is something, a piece of code as of now, okay. Don't confuse, don't have to confuse, just to as of now, function is a piece of or a block of script, okay. That's all you need to know. That is all, again, the same, it will follow the same rule and same scope, okay. And this are the things we will be seeing later. And okay, now since we know the basic, if you just see this, I used by default, okay. Now we are going to make a few things work, okay. How, I'll show you. Let's say, there are three types of scopes the PowerShell uses. One is the global, which is the scope is in effect when the PowerShell starts. The global is nothing but I said, right, like automatic variable, okay. You can usually consider global, okay. uh, types of scope, okay. It might look scary, but don't worry, it's very simple actually. Global, it just means we have seen lot of automatic variables, right. Automatic variables means it will be available for any console. Let's say I open a console here and I type, let's say PS, that's dollar G. I type 1 GB. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I type 1 GB and I'm getting something. Okay. I did not declare anything. I'm just opening. Again, this is one of the default variable. Okay. If I just type 1 MB, it will be another number, okay. 1 TB will be the other one. Why this is by default? Most of the cases we will be actually trying to convert somewhere the memory to GB or MB, TB, all those things. So PowerShell by default has all these values inbuilt. The point is, I'm not trying to introduce these things in this complicated scenario. I just want to show you, okay, this is available. I did not declare. You've been seeing me, right? Now I open another PowerShell script and then I just type the same thing, 1 TB, 1 GB, 1 MB. It's available here as well, right? So these are all the things called global variable or automatic variables, okay. And now second thing is local variable, which is nothing but in this console whatever I declare, right, it's only local for this particular console and it will not be available in another console, okay. Let's say local x equal to here, okay, and in another computer, let's say local y is equal to y. And this will also applies for the script, okay. Just to when I say script, how these two are not accessible. Similarly, if I open a script and do the same thing, it will not be available there as well. Okay, so local is nothing but local y. Let's say for an example, okay, this local y is something to make it easy for you to understand. I'm naming it. There is nothing, there is no need of I have to declare it with a name local. Okay, just to make you understand, I'm declaring it. So local y here is available, but let me try local y here. It's not available, right? Vice versa here, vice versa. Let's say a is equal to 1 and $a will be accessible here. Let's say a is equal to 2 will be available here, but this a and that a is different, and this a, local x, all these are called local variables. Means they are restricted to console or script. Okay, within the console or the script, and not available for the other programs. And the if you remember, I just mentioned a particular word while I'm saying this here. By default, here, declare a variable in the script. By default, it won't be accessible in console. Reason is the script variable. I said, right? The variable, whatever we are mentioning in the script, is not is script variable. That is all this about. Okay, there is nothing fancy, just to make us a little bit confused and fancy than nothing else. Okay, just to give you an idea. If you see, all these things we already know. Okay, just the names. And again, as I always say, do you have to remember? Not at all. You don't have to remember, just know the concept. I'll go through the concept one more time. Okay, script variable is the variables declared within the scripts. Okay. Okay, so now let's call a variable. Okay, let's declare a variable called, what can we say? Okay, PowerShell Titan is the program name, right? I just hit enter. It's not returning nothing, and I wanted to name it as PowerShell Post. Now I go to another console, and then again, don't worry about whether is that happening just because I'm in a different folder or different directory. It is nothing to do with the directory. It is just to do with the console. Okay. To clarify, I'll just go to the same directory so that you will not be confused. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna call this. Obviously, we know this will not be available. Now, how to? Let me try something here. That is, whenever I'm having trouble, it just means that much that is not required. Okay, so that is the whole point. So don't worry whether we are not getting it. That means that is not that mandatory for us to remember, and that hands-on required. Even I forget those things. So that is what. So point. Let me try this. Set hyphen. Right. Let me type get hyphen variable or shell Titan, and we have this, and I'm changing the scope before that. Page visibility, public, options. Check this options. Okay. Instead of get, I set PowerShell and scope. Okay, and global. Now, instead of we try in to console, let's try in the script. Okay, PowerShell Titan suite. Okay, got it. The mistake what I did, the first thing is, okay, I was using, I'm just misplacing this dollar after this colon. Okay, colon. What did I do is, instead of using dollar global and PowerShell Titan, what I did is global and then followed by, as usual, this one I use, and then it was giving an error. So the actual way to call it is dollar global and then colon whatever the name. Okay. Now let's start and then I'll be explaining what exactly happening here. As I said, I'm going to declare something called PowerShell Titan. Okay, and then I'm saying is master class 1. Okay, now I'm calling this, or let's say, okay, now I'm calling this again PowerShell Titan. Now it has the value. What I'm doing is I'm trying to change this value, okay, by making this as a global variable. Okay, so how I'm gonna make it, or how I'm gonna make this change, by using this particular keyword global. Okay, so I come to the script, and then what I'm doing is dollar global PowerShell Titan. This is the exact name I used here, and then I'm giving a new name. Okay, or I'm just modifying the value here. Okay, and then I'm writing here from the script, this whatever the value I just want to print. The point is I declare something in the console, okay, and by default, if I'm trying to change or access, it will not be, or if I change that value, it will not be accessed back again here. In other words, if I declare something here, if I change here, and if I again try to call it back, it will not work. Okay, it will still have master class 1 only. Okay, let's say all I'm gonna do is I'm just taking this dollar global just to prove that. Okay, now we don't have global, and I'm just running this command test scope. Now what is happening, it's running. First PowerShell Titan is getting declared master class 2, and then it is printing master class 2. Now if I call it again, it will be still master class 1. Now all I'm going to do is I'm putting global colon. Okay, now I'm executing the script again, and here is the magic happens. Since I just may use this particular global, it will be actually making the change in this particular variable, and now I'm going to call it, and you could see whatever the variable we changed here, right, that will be taken effect here. So coming back to the basics, we set this right. Whatever the by default, it will not be available back in the console. To make it available, what should we do? Declare a variable in the script using dollar global colon and then variable name. Then it will be accessible. In the console. The script reason is it's not a script variable anymore, it's a global variable because we declared it as a global. and it'll, even though the script is terminated, it will be available and accessible. So that is how we actually override the default. I mean, this is something you will never use it. Okay, I just want to make this, this concept of. I'll give you an example before we end this, so that you will clearly know where exactly this will be coming in your actual real-time example. Okay, what will happen is, let's say, so I hope this is what all the point I want to make. First thing is, two consoles will not be sharing the same variable, and console and let's say if we declare something in the console, that will be accessible in the script because that script is within this particular console. Okay, but whatever we are declaring in the script, by default it will not be accessible back to the console. To make it accessible, we need to add a global variable and then it will be accessible. That's the 3 points all we need to do. And other than that, global variable is also automatic variable. Okay, and local variable is this default variables I said. Script variable is, let's say, in this script we are using this, right? This is all script variables. Okay. Now, as I said, I'll be giving you an example. Okay, this is where it will be coming handy. Let's say I open a PowerShell console. Okay, and imagine everything is not there. I'm trying to write a script. Okay, and in that script, I'm actually, let's say here I'm trying something. Okay, like before I write a script, I'm trying something, and in that I somehow I just for a testing purpose I just put test is equals to 100. Okay, now I open a notepad and then I start writing. Okay, scripts, write hyphen post, and then let's test. Okay, what I believe here is, since I did not declare, okay, this is, I mean, again, I'm giving an example. This will happen, let's say, for an example, in spite of test, okay, we can also change like this. Let's say local host name is equal to uh, PowerShell Titans. Okay, this is the local host name. For some reason, I declared here, I forgot it. Okay, now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to print okay, the local host name, and I'm expecting the local host name will, I mean, for some reason I'm expecting it will be returning the local host name of my computer. But when I execute it, what will happen is this value is actually fetched from this script, I mean from this console, and it actually prints the PowerShell Titan, which is not my computer name. And it is one single line. I don't know where this value is actually coming from, right? So this is where exactly people will be getting confused. What will happen? Let's say you have 100 lines of scripts, and then you are using some, I mean, by mistake, the same variable here and here, and you declared some different name, I mean, variable here, but you did not declare and then trying to use it here, you will be not getting the desired output. What you will be doing, you will be trying to resolve, you will be check where actually I'm declaring, where it is actually going wrong. You'll be seeing everywhere in the script. The answer is neither in the script, neither in the console. It is just about the scope. Whatever you declared here is available here. That is why it is actually taking and giving you a wrong result. So that is what will be happening, and people also tend to do this mistake. Also, people will declare something here and expect that to be, available here, which will not be available. And most of the people, 99% of the people, will forget this global concept. So they will be trying to access here. They will be, breaking their head why it is not actually working. Okay. So all you need to do is you just need to add a global this particular thing to get it. So that is the practical use, and this I have seen, even I have did this lots and lots of time, and in a thousand codes, right? It will be very hard for us to understand where exactly this particular value is coming from, why it is coming, all these things. But the answer will be very simple. While we are testing something, we would have tried it here, but we will be running from the same console, and actually the values will be taken from here. So that's the whole point of the scope, and that is all you have to remember. Okay, you don't have to remember what is global, what is local, what is script. If you are remembering it, very good, but that's not required. So that's all about variable, scope, all those things. Let's quickly see what all the things we have seen today. First thing is we have seen what is variable. Variable is something which will hold any value or any data type. Okay, and it can be changed. It can vary. That is why we call it as a variable. It will be actually a placeholder in your RAM for the console, and when the console is closed, it will be not available. Similarly, when a script is run and then terminated, it will not be available. And how we can communicate to the PowerShell, we are declaring a variable just by adding a dollar symbol. And what are the reasons we will be using variable? One is to reuse the value. Sometimes it will be confusing. Second thing is to easy to understand for everyone else, even for you. You write a script 1 year ago, and then you try to take it again today, and then try to see what is that, and even you will not understand what exactly if you don't use the right variable. And common mistake is most of the people will just use very random variable names. So let's say $8, $test1. This is all worst practice. Don't use it. Name it sensibly. Let's say sensible in the sense not like very keen and then very detailed. Just to give you a clue so that you will understand what is it about. Let's say CPU underscore utilization util, so that you will know that is something related to CPU utilization instead of you just put test 1 or test 2, test 3. I see people keep on test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, keep on going with the only test. Okay, some people will go with the $A, $B, $C, that is all, not the right practice. Always keep a relevant variable name. Okay, so I'll add that as another point. Okay, relevant name. Okay, so why we use it, I said that. And then why, how we call it, or why we call it as a variable, because it will keep changing it. It can change a value, or it is also a placeholder. As I told, you don't have to remember that this particular technical name. Best practice, or this is the actually mandatory, there should not be a space between the dollar, and the variable name. It's all, PowerShell is completely case, not case sensitive. And if you want, this is again, you want to leave a space between the variable name, you can use this one, but not recommended. In spite of that, you can use underscore and name it, as I said, easy, relevant, and then easy to give you a clue. And variable type, it can be also called data type. Okay, and it can be string, integer, long. There are a lot of things, but as of now we just seen just two things, right? So this is the thing. Whenever you want to declare something, make sure you put it in either double quotes or single quotes. Both are string. Okay, and then how we call or recall, print, display, or use a variable, just call with dollar variable name. And then we have seen what is get variable, set variable, clear variable, remove variable. This is all nothing but $A calling, $A assigning. This is nullifying and then removing, and this is something you don't have to do at all. PowerShell will do it automatically. Automatic variables are something you don't have to declare, and you cannot also use it. Okay, for an example, $false, $false, and I'm trying to assign something, let's say you will get an error because it's a read only and it's a constant because it's already taken and then it is an automatic variable. Okay, so you cannot reuse or you can now change these values. Scope is nothing but how whether it is accessible in that particular range or not. Okay, and we have seen why we are putting dot slash in the script, and we have also seen the three important scope. One is two consoles will not share. Script will So the script will take the value from the console, but the console will not get the value from the script. So for that, you need to make it as a global variable using this one. You remember the mistake I did, right? I started global and then used this dollar symbol here. That's the reason it didn't work. And then I went to the help and then I figured it out. I just need to put it here. So again, this is something you will never, most of the cases you will not be using, and the real scenario is something I said, right? People will be declaring something in the console and then trying to access some the same variable, and then it will be giving some other different value, and they will get confused. And whenever we are starting something with a pound symbol, okay, hash, it means comment. And three types of scope: global, local, and script variables. That's all for today, and then I guess we covered a lot of things today, and we'll have a lot of questions and come up with try to do all these things, and then this is something looks like very simple and you might easily understand, or it might look complicated, but once you start exploring things, you will be able to understand what all the things can be done, cannot be done, trial and error, all those things. So being said that, we'll end this session, and we will be seeing the rest of the things tomorrow, and we'll keep going. Thanks all.